Uh-oh, shaky spider cam. Hello, creative people, and welcome to A Motley Art. My name is Catherine, and I have two 6x6 page layouts to show you, and I'm using the Boo Crew collection from Close to My Heart. It's available through October 2021. I also used some Cricut cuts for the spider webs that I am now attaching to the paper, and I love how these came out. I've used these spider webs before, and I love the look of them. They really are meant to go in the corner, so that's really nice. I just blew them up a bit so that they'd be pretty big and take up a good bit of space on my 6x6 page. In the description, I have a link to Close to My Heart if you want to see more about this particular collection and what they have to offer. I also will have information about which items I used and their product number to make it a little easier if you decide you like to go get some. If not, I hope you stick around to the end of this video and just get some nice inspiration. Obviously, Halloween, there is so many spider type things out there. You could easily do something similar to this with a lot of different collections. For these pages that I'm doing with the Boo Crew, I am trying to do them a little bit like a mini album. So I decided to do 2 flip ups on this page because I really like having that extra space to be able to design on top of, and then I'll put my pictures on the inside. So I created my flip ups and now I'm putting little tabs on them. I just think it's easier to, one, flip them up, and two, it lets people know that there is something you're supposed to do there in case they come across this page and they've never really done that before in a scrapbook page. So there was a sticker that I really liked, and I'm going to back it a bunch of times. I already did the darker pink, and you'll see I'm going to keep going and do a bunch more colors. I used a lot of the sticker sheet from the Boo Crew collection on this particular layout. I just really loved the spider stickers, and I really wanted to try to use as much of that as I possibly could. And then I just liked the sentiment, let's get spooky, right? I think if you see a bunch of spiders, you're going to be like, ooh, that's spooky. Ooh. So I thought it fit perfectly with this particular layout. I really like these papers because I felt like for the majority of this paper, it was very whimsical. It was very cutesy Halloween, right? I like a cutesy Halloween, and I think, which is weird, the older I get, I think the more and more I'm drawn to the more cutesy Halloween, the more just fun, and a little less to like the spooky or gory kind of Halloween. But when you start putting a bunch of spiders all over your layout, it kind of starts to get a little bit closer to that spookier type of Halloween, a little bit more scary Halloween, because, you know, spiders are just kind of, woo, right? I mean, even if you don't hate spiders, there's still just something about them. If you saw a whole bunch of them in a room, you'd think twice about going into that room. So I wanted to give my flip a little bit more pizzazz to it, but I didn't want to put a whole another sheet of paper over top of it like I've done on the previous layout. And if you missed my previous video using this collection, I'm going to put it up top here in the playlist, and you can check that out along with some other 6x6 layouts that I've done. And so I chose to use the zip strip that was on one of the 12x12 papers. So it's kind of like the branding strip. It had the nice black and orange, and I wanted to bring in some of that orange anyways because that's what I used, as you can see, as one of the layers for my sentiment. And I just really like to try to make sure that I use a color 2 times. I find that on your layouts, that's the rule of thumb to go by to make it look coordinated, to make like look everything is going together, is that every color you use, you want to use at least 2 times. so that it doesn't seem weird that you just have one color out there and nothing else. And I really like how this pink and orange and black go together. I'm loving that for some reason for this Halloween. I can't stop doing it. And I loved how the pink spider webs come out. I'm loving it. And I'm not usually a pink girl, but I just think it accents so nicely without it being a really harsh contrast. And maybe that's why I'm loving it, because, if you use something like red, I mean, those are really hard contrasts, the black and the white and the red. This is a little bit more softer, so some things do kind of fall a little bit more into the background without you having to do a whole lot to make them or push them back into the background. So I really like that. As some people say, let's try to make our paper work for us. And so I find that this worked really nicely. Now, with the Close to My Heart cardstock, if you're having an issue cutting things on your Cricut with it, I really recommend that you use the mat that is the light blue mat that's meant for lighter papers. I found this cardstock does really well on that mat, and the green mat, it kind of tears it up. It's a little too strong for it. So using this mat, I was able to get those off really, really nicely. So I did decide also that I wanted the spider webs to have a little bit of shimmer, so I used a shimmer brush on top of them to get that shimmer, and it looks so cool in the light. The way that it hits, it really gives you that spider web feel. I brought out some enamel dots that I had from the Daisy Meadow collection because the pinks just go so well with this collection. And then I decided to also bring in some of the rose gold vinyl that I have cut into these strips. I just wanted a little bit more sparkle on this whole layout. I think that was the way I was trying to offset some of the creepiness of having all these spiders everywhere, is to give it a little bit more sparkle. But I did kind of also feel like I needed to do something more on that right hand flap, that it just felt like it was very empty over there with just the one spider. But I love how this is coming out so far. So I move those aside and decide to stamp a few more spiders, because that's what this was about. That is what this layout ended up being about. It was a love of spiders, even if you don't necessarily really love spiders. I don't hate spiders, I just don't like them on me. Like if I see a spider on the opposite wall from me or just going by me, I'm like, okay, that's fine, just as long as it's not going to actually touch me. Once it gets too close to touch, well, then they got to go. I can't do that. So the stamp set for the Boo Crew is where this stamp came from, and it has some thin cuts for some of the items, but the spider was not one of them, so I did have to cut them out myself. And I used the papaya color, which is a pink color. It's a little bit in between some of the other pinks that I was using, so I thought it would be nice to kind of give a little bit of a different type of pink, just throw one more shade of pink on there, because apparently this Halloween you cannot have enough pink. That's how I'm feeling. So, and as you can see, these are really easy to cut out. I did cut them out to be similar to the stickers where they have some white around them. I wanted it to feel like they also were stickers and not just stamped. Plus, I thought it would help make them pop off of that black. And once I've got them all ready, I just put them down onto that flap. And as you can see, I'm being very careful to make sure though that they are not going over the fold of the top of the flap. You don't want that, or else your flap will not open correctly. And that is why I cut the bigger sticker as well, so you get the illusion that it's all still one sticker. The line, I just lined them up really nicely, but you can open up the flap because I did cut them apart. I added a couple of silver glitter gems down there on the tabs that's used to lift. I just thought it would be nice to give it that extra little sparkle, and it's going to kind of match up with the shimmer that I put onto the spider web. I hope you enjoyed what I did in these layouts and that it gave you some inspiration. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comment section, and have a very creative day. And if you made it this far, please subscribe to my channel and see the next couple videos that I have coming out.